Hey YouTube, so today's Wednesday and I come out here to Midway Auto Salvage in Beggs, Oklahoma. I found this Bonneville SSCI and someone's already ripped the top end off of it, but it had some nice ARP head studs and one of them was already pulled out. It's right here, and I found most of the nuts. There's still missing some washers. So I'm going to get all these studs out, look around, see if I can find any more nuts, any more washers. And I'll probably get these for like $5. So, not bad. But, yeah, just going to give you guys an update. So, I'll give you guys another update once I get all these out. Alright, you guys. Well, we're back from the salvage yard. So, got a lot of stuff. So, they didn't have really anything out there that was worth anything, except for I did find these ARP head studs on a Bonneville SSCI, and I found most of it. I'm still missing one more nut, and I still need 5 more washers. And so I started to clean them up, and I got 3 of them wiped down just with that red rag. And David, my buddy David's like, hey, I got an ultrasonic cleaner and some solution, and he wants to test it out. So I'm taking a break. He ran home to get his cleaner and the solution, and we're gonna clean the rest of these in the solution. I just want to show you guys my little score today. So I got all the head studs with most of it for like, I don't know, $1.50, like almost nothing. And then I got all these sockets out of the parts bin inside, and so all of these are all Hart brand, and they're different, like all 3 sizes. Man, there's like the 1/4 inch, 3/8, and 1/2 inch drive between all of them. And there's just a bunch, and it looks like somebody had the same Hart kit that I have in here. Not this one, but the big fat one back there. It opens up, and I had that kit whenever I wrecked the Ranger and flipped the black 97 I bought from Salem Doyle, and all my tools flew all over the side of the highway, and I lost a lot of these little sockets. And so I got all these sockets for $2.35 for all that. And then I don't think he even charged me for this. And then as part of the miscellaneous items from yard, that includes all of this. And they had this sitting up there with all the tools and just no charger, 1/2 inch drive, Bauer impact for $5. And he just said no charger. So I got this for $5, and it looks like, I guess he charged me 50 cents for the head studs. And then he didn't even put, unless that's included with the head studs. So $5.50 for the impact and the head studs and the badges, and $2.35 for all the sockets and this China wrench. But not bad. Less than $10 for everything. So not a bad haul today. David also got a few things. He got a bunch of sockets and wrenches and a couple ratchets and a bunch of stuff. He got some SK. These are SK. This is a 1 inch. All these are 1/2 inch drive. Yeah, there's a 1 inch, and then there's a 9/16, and 5/8, 19/32, and another 9/16. So these are some pretty expensive tools now, this brand SK. So I've got quite a few other sockets and wrenches and stuff in there that are a couple older brands that I don't really use. I just kind of save them. But all this other stuff I'm going to replace in my box what's missing out of this, and all the rest will just go in the bottom of the big box, and these will go get put up with the other ones. But hell yeah, I don't even know what we're going to use these for, but we'll figure something out. There's always lots of projects, so these will get used. I'll get another nut and some more washers, and we'll have a complete set. So not bad for like 50 cents. Pretty good score. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update whenever David gets back with the ultrasonic cleaner and the solution. Alright, you guys, so David's back with the cleaner, and so right now we put some Lysol in it. We're going to test out the Lysol, diluted with some water.
Oh no, straight Lysol and then water on the outside of the bag. And fill the whole thing up with Lysol. Apparently the ultrasonic waves will go through the water into the cleaner.
Alright, so you ready to plug it in? Alright, there we go. Got it plugged in. I guess we'll see how it works.
It says 5 to 30 minutes. That's for jewelry. We're doing it. It's nice.
Alright. You want to move it up there under the awning thing so it's not getting rained on? Because I don't want to fuck up your shit, you know.
$12 on eBay.
Nice. How long have you had this thing?
About a week or two.
$39.99 in 2008.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Ultrasonic cleaning system, Medelco.
Probably only ever used for like dentures or earrings.
Huh. Safe and efficient. Sweet. Well, I guess we're gonna put it to the test and see how well it does.
Miniatures, but
so
nuts and bolts and tools.
I'll keep you guys updated. We're gonna let that thing run, and I'll give you guys another update here in a little bit. Alright, you guys, so went through we got the cleaner going over there. So I went ahead and went through all this the 1/4-inch drive sockets, and pretty much got all of them except for I don't have a heart 1/4-inch, but I do have just a regular 1/4-inch one in there, and I don't have the T27 because I broke it. So I have this, but it's not on a socket like all these, but oh well. Pretty much all the sizes are in there, so if I need something, it's pretty much all there. And then I just have these few little ones left over, and these are some I had in there that weren't for the heart set, so I just replaced their size with actual heart ones that I found. There's a couple leftovers, so it never hurts to have extras, so I'll just throw all these in here. They can all go back in the kit with the rest, and everything will be good. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, so it's been about 30 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, somewhere in there. Let's see what these are looking like. Ugh. Wow. It actually worked very well.
Oh, it's kind of warm.
Holy crap.
Yeah, all-purpose cleaner. Way to go, Lysol.
Nice.
It like vibrated some threads into the bottom.
Alright, let me grab a rag or something, and I'll be right back. Alright, so we got a rag. Look, everything is, wow. That really cleaned them up. They got a lot of that gunk out.
Off.
Still probably have to wipe it down a little bit, but
Ooh, it's hot. Ooh, it's hot.
it did really good.
Too bad it's not bigger.
Yeah.
Like I said, I did get this
alright.
for miniatures.
It does really good with the nuts and washers, so
Definitely.
and it fits the short head
sockets.
head studs, so it's all good. Oh yeah. Oh, well, I guess we'll grab the other short,
Yeah, there's
other four studs and throw them back in there, maybe with some fresh. A couple more sprays of that fresh Lysol and kick it back on.
This stuff feels plenty potent still. Very soapy.
Alright, well.
It's gross.
I'll give you guys another update. Alright guys. Sunset. That doesn't look as good on camera as it does in person, but so this thing's been running for about another 15 minutes. We just checked on it. He threw his pliers in there. But oh, that one is working. A couple of these actually look really good.
Kind of overpacked it this time to see if it would still.
Hey, it's actually cleaning those pliers up. Not bad for some Lysol. Way to go, Lysol.
All purpose.
I sprayed some WD-40 on the clean ones, just so they're soaking and not flash rusting or nothing, just from getting super deep cleaned. So I'm going to keep letting those sit for a little while longer, then we're going to flip them over. I might have to get some fresh solution. But got most of the tools all picked up and trying to get everything organized. I got to get it packed back into the 06. And yeah, that's probably going to be it for tonight. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update tomorrow. Well guys, I don't know what I was talking about. I'll give y'all an update tomorrow. I forgot about the damn head bolts. But so I've been pulling them out a couple at a time, wiping them down. I've been scrubbing the threads with that soft bristle wire brush, just cleaning out the threads. And then I've been grabbing that one nut right there and just lubing it up with the WD-40 and threading it down on the fine thread side, just to make sure that all the threads are cleaned out on all of them, and everything's looking great so far. So, and then once I get them cleaned out and brushed down, I'm putting them in the bag and spraying them down. So still got a few more left.
Looking good.
But making progress. So yeah, look at that. Cleaning them up. And he's got his pliers in there too. It's cleaning them up. Damn. Oh yeah. You can definitely see that line. Good old Lysol.
They open and close.
But alright, I'll give you guys another update here in like another 15 minutes. Alright guys, so I got all the head bolts, or head studs, and the nuts and washers that I did find. I got them all bagged up in WD-40, and they're just soaking, so they're double bagged, so it shouldn't leak. Hopefully, oh, it looks like it's leaking. Oh well, I tried. But so we got some sockets going in here along with the pliers, and so I got those all those SK 1-inch sockets or half-inch drive sockets. We've been checking on them, dude. They've cleaned up so much. Look at that 1-inch one, dude. That one looks brand new. That's crazy how clean that got.
Ooh, hot potato. Hot potato.
That is crazy. They got super clean. Still rusty on the insides.
The 12 points have it the worst.
But man,
there's only one 6-point.
This thing works great for, what'd you say, like
I got it
$8?
for 12.
12 bucks.
Shipped on eBay.
That's crazy. That thing works great.
These weren't even in
Even
there
as
that
like
long.
a polisher. I know, like what, 15, 20 minutes?
If
like
that.
right as I got all the last few head studs
It got
out,
a
we
lot of the
threw those
inside
in
of this
there.
bigger
So
one out.
man, that's crazy. That's nice.
I bet that'll fit on a driver now.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried
so
to
rusty
put it on that new Impact a minute ago before we threw it in there. And there was so much rust in there, it wouldn't even go on the end of the Impact. Let's see if it'll fit on there now.
Hold on. Yeah, it's pretty dry.
Well, that's a lot better than not at all.
Oh yeah, it's on there.
It wouldn't even go on it.
Oh yeah, see if it'll... Oh yeah, popped right off. But hell yeah, impact works. Sockets are, man, they've cleaned up really well. I'm super happy with that. Thank you, David. Got the head bolts, or head studs cleaned up. I don't know why I keep saying head bolts.
I keep saying head bolts too.
But I've got to get 5 more washers and 1 more nut, which shouldn't be hard. Our buddy Lucas, he's got some ARP hardware. They're off of an Audi, but maybe one of the nuts will be the same thread pitch and will work.
I think some of them are actually off an LS. Because he has some that are Audi, they're like Jetta or Passat, and then some that are like LS.
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But he's supposed to be coming back into town here soon, so...
Like, maybe a week.
I need to go get that plate, that intercooler plate, and get it popped apart. Because he said he would try to weld up that core. So, I know, making lots of progress. I think that's really going to be it for tonight, though. So, now I'll probably give you guys another update tomorrow. So, I've got to get this all unwrapped and tear this engine apart. Well, not the whole engine, but I got to get the headers and crossover pipe back off. So, I can get them boxed back up. The box is in the car. So, y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update tomorrow whenever I'm pulling the headers off of this. Alright, y'all. So, it's the next day. It's Thursday. I got off work. I went by the storage, by both storages. I just grabbed a bunch of stuff. So, I've got all the stuff for the Grand Dam. I grabbed 2 different things of coils and ICMs of the Grand Dam coils and ICM. I grabbed all the harness for the Grand Dam engine. I grabbed that's for the NOx sensor, which I probably won't need unless I need to extend it. But like, just a lot of these are just extra plugs, and that's that sub harness I need for the injectors, and then that's the some of the 3/8 injector clips with just on some longer wire for extending them. So I know for sure I had to extend 3, maybe all 6. But other than that, it's everything's going pretty good. So I still gotta just unwrap this engine. I gotta get the headers back off so I can get those back in the box to get those milled back out. So I need to get this thing unwrapped and probably move it up here and pull the headers off and the crossover so I can take some more pictures. I gotta get that clamp off and take some more pictures so I can just send it to them and show them exactly what I was talking about. Because in the pictures I sent them, whenever I was telling them it didn't fit right, it had the clamp on. So I'm gonna get that clamp off. I'll do a video, then I'll take a couple pictures to send to the seller so he knows exactly what I'm talking about. And then I can get those boxed up, and FedEx should come pick them up either tomorrow or maybe Monday. It might be Monday, but FedEx will come pick it up and they'll get shit back. I'll get a refund, and then I can either buy another set or I can try to just get the set off the 97. David's trying to convince me to keep these and just cut the crossover and weld a V-band in there, but it's like, I don't want to do that. I've already done this on the 97 and made them fit and they work. If you want to do that, I'll swap you. Give me those, you take these. But he don't want to do that. So I think I'm just going to pull these off, get them boxed up, and then before I email the seller on eBay, he can decide if he wants this set or if he, like, what he wants to do. Because I just want the set that's on the 97. So I know they work. I've already done all the shit to make them fit and make them work, and they work. They don't leak no more. So those are the ones I want. But I'm going to get this thing all unwrapped, get these headers off, and then I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, so I've got this thing uncovered, and I just got the clamp off. And as you can tell, it's not really at the right angle. And it doesn't fit worth a damn down here. That's definitely going to leak. And having that clamp on it didn't clamp it tight enough to where it was sealing it. So I don't really know what else to do there. Like I said, David seems to think that you can just cut this and put a V-band in here and be able to turn it, but I think it's not that it's, because even if you take and rotate this down like this, it's not going to make it go any straighter. So you would have to like almost notch it and do like a pie cut to angle it at the right angle. But I don't know, like I said, that's just where I'm at with it. I don't want to fuck with this. So it's all coming back off. So y'all stay tuned and I'll give you guys another update here shortly. Alright you guys, so I've got all the headers off so I can get all that box back up, which is in there. And then I got the engine moved up here. So right now I'm working on the coils. So the way that this is the factory 3/8 coils, and it goes just like that. And so for the Grand Am coils, these are the Grand Am coils. It's gonna go like that. So what I had to do was, since the 6.3 was up top and the 2.5 was in the middle, and over here on the Grand Am one it's different, so I moved both of those down. And then the 1.4 coil, so this is the Grand Prix coil, and that is the Grand Am coil. As you can see, they're reversed. So I mean, I could easily just reverse the wires and put the number 1 here and the number 4 here, and it would work. But I just don't want to have any issues later on down the road, forget that I swapped the coil around or something. So I'm just swapping to the Grand Am one because it looks exactly the same. It's all OEM and it's correct. And then I can just take the bolts, put them into this one. Now everything is correct. So now whenever I go to put all the plug wires on, they just go right on and everything's right. Bam. So now all those are tight. It's on there good. So now don't have anything to worry about with the coils. And then I brought this vacuum line. I had to splice it together out of like 3 different ones, but I got it. It's hooked up to the map, runs around, goes down into the lower intake manifold, comes up to the fuel pressure regulator, and then over here into the boost solenoid. Blow off valve solenoid, whatever it is. The hell yeah, so everything's coming together. So I think the next major thing I'm really going to have to focus on is the wiring harness. And it's pretty much just going to be taking the harness, throwing it over the top, kind of running everything, seeing what needs to go where, seeing how everything plugs in. I'm probably going to have to pull this bar back off. And I'm going to try to tuck the wire. I don't know if I'm going to go over right here or how I'm going to do it. And then also I'm still looking for supercharger bolts. Couldn't find any at the salvage yards. I've been to like 4 different salvage yards now, and none of them have any L67 or L32 cars. So like Danny's had that one Series 1 supercharged. It was like a 95 Buick Riviera with that little short stubby snouted like MP112 or something supercharger. And that's what these bolts are the supercharger bolts out of it, and they're just way too short. They only go in like 2 threads in the lower intake manifold. So those are definitely not going to work. They kind of hold the supercharger in place, but that's just tempt. I'm still trying to find the actual bolts. So if anybody has some Series 2 or Series 3 supercharger bolts, let me know. I'll gladly buy them. Just let me know how much you want for them. So I did find a full, like a whole engine bolt dress-up kit on eBay for like 65 bucks or 68 bucks. And it comes with everything, like the whole top end, the timing cover, AC compressor, starter bolts, exhaust manifold bolts, like throttle body bolts, all these sensors that go onto the throttle body, like the PCV valve, like it's bolts for everything on the engine, and they're all nice polished chrome. And so I was kind of debating on if I want to buy that or not. I mean, it would be nice because then it would make everything look nice and clean. But if I was going to spend that much money for bolts, I would have done it for this engine and not for this engine. But like I said, once I get the intercooler fixed, then I can always just rob these bolts that are on here now, and boom, that, because that's what they were off of, was that supercharger. And I did bring the intercooler core and all the other stuff, so I have it. I just got to get that popped apart and try to get that core out, so that way whenever Lucas comes back in town, I can get that welded up and it can go back on pretty quick. So hopefully. But so I think the next thing I'm going to work on this is going to be probably throwing that harness over and just kind of seeing what plugs in and what I need to extend and what I need to do with these. Because on these, I think I'm just going to have to cut off the cam sensor and the crank sensor, like up here somewhere, and then just extend those wires to the wires onto the Grand Am harness. And then that will just delete all of this, because I'm not going to use any of this, because this will not go into this ICM. So but it's cool, it's getting there, everything's coming along. So y'all stay tuned and I'll give you guys another update as I make some more progress. Alright you guys, I've got a fucking mess out here, but so I've been working on the engine. And so I found, this is the crank sensor adapter harness. And so I figured this, once I get it to the proper length, I can run it right up here, right on the back side of this idler pulley into right here, and just splice it in here behind the sheathing. And then that will take care of that crank sensor plug. I've got the AC compressors plugged in, the starter's hooked up, the knock sensor's plugged in. On the 3.4s, this is, I guess, the oil pressure switch, and on the 3.4 it's on the front of the engine in the block, like right in here somewhere. And on the 3.8 it's on the opposite side on the oil filter housing. And this is a one plug, like a one prong plug, and the Grand Prix ones are a two prong plug. So I'm gonna have to and that one's ripped a little, so I'll probably end up going to the salvage and I'll just get the actual 3.4 oil pressure sensor, and I'll just grab another plug for it and just cut it off, and I can just splice it on. That way it'll take care of that exposed wire right there, and that will give me the correct sensor that I need. And then I can just run a wire through the harness back up to the front up here, so that this can go from here around to the back and plug in. And then I think it's the exact opposite for the oil level sensor, is on the back side of the oil pan on the Grand Am, and on the Grand Prix they're on the front side. So they just kind of swap a couple sensors around, but nothing that can't be extended, and we'll make that work. So making a little bit of progress. The starter is fully wired up, so the wires are on the starter. The ground goes on the stud that goes right there, so that will ground out. We won't use this because that's for the trans, the auto trans. That's the ABS, and then this is the wheel speed sensor, and then those are the radiator fans and the AC line plug. This goes to the computer through the firewall. These are for the transmission gear selector, which won't be used, so that's no use. I'm not for sure what that wire is. That's the other wheel speed sensor plug for the other side of the car. I did find, this is that sub harness that I just got. And so I found the actual crank sensor. Okay. Well then, no, so that's got to be the cam sensor then. What? That's weird. Pretty sure this goes to the cam sensor on a 3.4. That must be wrong. This is actual crank sensor, so I know this is right. And then this just plugs in back here onto the back side of the harness. Yeah, right here. That goes to the alternator. That goes to the plug on the alternator, which is underneath. So it's going to be a pain in the ass to get plugged in, but I can make it work. But overall, it's coming together. I'm making progress. So still a lot more shit to figure out. It's dark, so I'm just making it harder on myself now, trying to do shit in the dark. So I'm probably going to pick everything up and get all this wrapped back up, and I'll just work on it some more tomorrow after I get off of work. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update before the night's over. Alright, y'all, so I've got the engine all wrapped back up. I've got pretty much all the tools picked up. I got the headers back in the box, so they're ready. As soon as I tape it back up, they're ready to be picked up and shipped back, so I can get a refund on those. And I talked to David. He decided he just wants to keep the ones that are on there. He don't want to fuck with it, so that's what I was like, exactly. So I'm going to get these taped up so they can be picked up by FedEx or whoever they're supposed to have come pick them up, and they can get it taken back to them in China, and I can get my money back. It's like $160 something, so I'm gonna get that coming back, and I'll figure out something else. Either I'll give David $150 and just take those factory or those headers, and we can put factory exhaust back on there. I mean, we got to figure something out, because I need those headers, and that was the whole original plan. So, but I got those ready. Made a lot of progress on the engine today. I have this power steering pump. I'm pretty sure it's one of the bad ones, but I just cleaned it up so I can bolt it on there, make sure the belt's gonna fit. Extra coil packs and ICM for the Grand Am that I brought. There's some more right there. So, but yeah, lots of progress today. Everything's all picked up. So I did not get to swap the strut, so I've got it in the back floorboard. So I'll try to get it swapped tomorrow as well, because it's still creaking and popping when I turn. But pretty successful day. So I think that's going to be it for tonight. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update tomorrow. Hey YouTube, alright, it's Saturday. It's about almost 5 o'clock p.m. So I slept in today. After work yesterday, I didn't really do anything. I still haven't heard back from the seller of the headers, so they're all boxed up and taped up and ready to go. And I'm just waiting for them to have FedEx come pick it up. And FedEx is supposed to bring the label and everything, so I don't have to do anything. So I didn't really make any progress on the engine. Then I slept in today, and my buddy Larry called, wanted me to come look at his Dodge Caliber, and wanted me to swap the AC compressor. And come to find out, he just overcharged his system, so I just let some Freon out, and his AC works. So it does make some noise. He probably does need a new compressor, but he was happy that the AC was working. So I was like, cool, no worries. It's good to go then. So I got him all put back together. Then I came over here back to the house, and I just swapped that front strut around. And I also took, this is the tire that was on the back that went flat that I put the plug in. And it's been sitting in the back seat of this for like a week now, and didn't lose any pressure at all. So I went ahead and bolted it on. It's holding weight. I put it on the front so it wasn't as much weight. And I took the one that was up here and put it on the rear. And it's not too bad. So I guess I'm going to go drive it around and see if it still makes the creaking and popping noise. And if it does, and I know it's something else and it wasn't the strut, but I figured, what the hell, I might as well at least try and see if I can get it to stop making that noise, because it just drives me crazy. The car seems to drive fine, but it just creaks and pops, and God, it sounds like something's about to fall apart. And I double checked all the lower control arm bolts and like everything's tight. The rack and pinion bolts tight. So unless it's the inner tie rod making noise, which I don't see that, but I guess it's a possibility. But I guess I'm about to get this hood shut and the trunk shut and grab my key for the locking lugs, and I'm gonna go drive this thing around the block and see if it still makes a creaking and popping noise. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update here in a minute. So well, I just drove it around. I had to pop the hood. All I did was just go turn around, and it's still the hell, the whole engine's moving as I turn the steering wheel. See if y'all can see anything down there. I don't know. Maybe I have to set you guys on a tripod and maybe get it jacked up. I'm not for sure. I need to kind of just have David come over, but he ain't answering the phone or my messages, so I don't know what he's doing. But I guess I'm gonna keep working on this thing and see if I can figure it out. Alright, y'all, so I just got the wheel back off, and I was just double checking subframe bolts. And so this one here was tight, this one up here was tight, the one on the front passenger corner was tight, but the rear one on the passenger side was not tight. It was backed out at least 1.5 inches. It got at least like 7 turns with that socket on there. But yeah, I got at least like 7 turns. So that's tight now. I was turning the wheel back and forth. Doesn't really seem like it made any difference. I still hear something clicking. I don't know what the hell it is. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and grab that tripod and set you guys right here on this tripod and try to steer this back and forth and see what we can come up with. Alright, so I got you guys on the tripod. So I'm going to turn this wheel back and forth and we'll see if we can figure anything out. It's like hard to turn right. Easy as fuck to turn left. Alright, well that's weird. It's hard to turn right, but it's easy to turn left. So, I don't know. I don't know what that means. I guess, let me watch this footage real quick and give you guys another update. Alright, let's try this again. See if we can see anything on this steering. check out the tie rod. See if we can see anything on this tie rod. And how about this strut top? I don't know what it could be. Looks like this axle slinging some grease out of that boot. So maybe I have to use that other boot, or that other axle I just took off the 07. I could throw it on this side. I don't know, it could even be that steering linkage under that boot going from the column to the rack. It's kind of a pain in the ass to get to that boot. But I guess I'm gonna keep messing with this thing and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright you guys, so I've got the busted axle off of this one. And got the one I got from the salvage yard for the 07 last week out of the box. It's already back in there. I just had to be quick about it, because as soon as I pulled that one out, it just started dumping fluid. So I just hurried and got them swapped, got it back in, got it back together. And I put the original strut back in. It seems to have quieted it down a lot. So I don't know, I guess we'll see how that works. So I'm gonna get this wheel bolted back on and set her on the ground and go drive it around again to see if that's any better. So y'all give me a few and I'll give you guys another update. Alright you guys, that was it. It was the axle. Because it's the same strut that was on there from the salvage. It's the axle from the salvage now. And no popping at all. So I think it was a mix between that axle and that subframe bolt being way backed out. That's good. Now it's making no noise at all. So now I can get my center cap back on. Everything's tight. So should be good to go. And then I just got to load all the tools back up and see how it goes. So y'all stay tuned and I'll give you guys another update once I got everything picked up. Alright you guys, so just went and drove her up to Quick Trip. She drove really good, didn't make any popping, squeaking noise at all. So very happy with that. So I guess it was a mix between the axle being slinging grease and that subframe bolt on the other side. So progress. I was going to drive the 07, but it wouldn't start. So I don't know what's up with that. I need to, I guess, just go ahead and pull that computer out and ship it off to Daniel Smut so he can tune it. And I need to install the radio in the 07, and I need to get all that under dash panel put back together. I still need to swap the steering linkage on that. I need to get that intercooler pulled apart for the 07 so I can have Lucas weld up that core. And I need to get a lot of stuff done, but slowly making progress. And this is that tire. I put the plug in the sidewall and it's holding air. It's got 40 pounds in it. Didn't seem to have any problems with it, so probably gonna rock it for a couple days at least. It's better than having that other wheel and tire. I've still got it in the back seat just in case, but seems like she's doing pretty good. So I think it's gonna be it for now. So I'll give you guys another update here after a while. Alright YouTube, so I'm back over at the house. I went and drove the 06 on the highway just to make sure everything was good. Drove great, no issues, have zero complaints now, except for not being able to run the AC and the car dying, but at least the drivability now is good. So I got back over here to the house, so I decided to start working on the 07. So I was just over at David's talking to him before I went and drove the car, and he was talking to me about hooking this thing up. And so I need to go ahead and get this hooked up and get this ran, so I'm going to pull that eBay O2 sensor back out and just hook up the wideband, so it'll be going straight to the wideband. And then I think that should pretty much be good for now, so I'll go ahead and get this all hooked up and get this ran, and I'll just, I guess, set it up there in the up there by that other little scan gauge I've got, and just keep an eye on it until I can get a pod. And then I've also got this boost gauge. It's a vacuum ran boost gauge, so I could run that and hook it up to this one and run it inside. So that'd be a cool thing if I get a little gauge pod for these. But I want to go ahead and get this hooked up since Lucas has let me borrow it, and it's plenty long enough to run down under the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing, well, get that eBay one undone. So I've already got the car jacked up, got my wrench out, so all I gotta do is just go under the car and unplug it. And then David was showing me, he showed me this listing on eBay. It's from ZZP, but it's just like a little in-between harness. So you pretty much, you unplug this, and then it plugs into that side, and this, your sensor plugs into the other side, and it just has a wire coming off that you hook up to your wideband, and that way you can use your factory O2 sensor with your wideband. But I don't know, it was like $6 and like $6 shipping, so I went ahead and ordered it for just in case. But it's going to be a few days before that gets here, so I'm going to go ahead and just take this eBay plug out, and I'll put the original plug with the ZZP extension harness back on. Or no, I'm going to use the wideband. I don't know why I said that. And then that way I can at least get that ran. Actually, you know what? I think I'm just going to put the original plug back in with the ZZP harness and just hold off on the wideband. Because I don't have any way. I mean, I guess I could pop one of these little things. Probably the one on that side. And run it inside through the floorboard there. That means I'm going to have to pull seats out and pull the carpet up. That's going to be a lot of shit. Yeah, I think I'm just going to hook the factory O2 back up and call it good. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update once I get this O2 sensor off. Alright, y'all, so I've got the original Bosch O2 sensor back in with the ZZP extension harness. I had to use that big ass crescent wrench to break it free because the socket just wasn't working. So, but got the old one out, or the cheap eBay one out. Now I'm probably about to grab, I think it's the 15 with a short 15 with the ratchet and a 15 wrench for the other side. And I'm gonna try to get those downpipe bolts, just make sure they're nice and tight onto that rear power log, because I don't know exactly how tight they are. But yeah, I'm gonna make sure that's all nice and tight. These back here should be all nice and tight, and I sprayed those gaskets. You can tell it looks like it's burnt off down here. That's crazy. Maybe it's leaking right there between those. I'm not for sure. Wow, that's crazy. But I'm going to go ahead and keep working on this thing and get those tightened up. And then hopefully I can get this thing to start. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update. Alright, YouTube. Well, I got her all back together. And I did get like 2 or 3 turns on that right manifold stud. I only got like 1 on the passenger side one. So I got them snugged down, got the O2 swapped out, and it still just cranks no start. So I don't know, it's already getting pretty late. It's almost 9, so I think I'm just gonna pick everything up because it's already dark as fuck, and I'll work on this tomorrow some. I think tomorrow morning I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go back out to, what is that, Midwest? Midway Salvage, where I found the ARP head studs at, and I think I'm gonna go pull that engine out and tear it apart just to see if it has a double roller or an aftermarket cam or anything else that might be useful. Because I don't know, like I said, those pistons, those rear winds, like that one shined up super, man. I mean, those could be like some $1,000 pistons easily. Well worth going and pulling them and cleaning them up. So I think I'm gonna go pull that engine tomorrow and just tear it all apart, spend 2 or 3 hours out there, and see what all goodies I can find and come up with. So I guess I'm going to get all this stuff picked up for tonight and get it all picked up and put back in the 06. And then I'll catch you guys in the morning whenever we're headed back out to Midway to go pull that engine out of that Bonneville. Alright, y'all. So I'm inside. It is just about midnight. And David went home a while ago, so I was trying to figure out something to do before I went to bed, so I decided I'd grab these 90-pound valve springs and the LS modified retainers and the new valve seals, and these are the NA heads that I'm planning on putting on the 06 engine whenever I do all the gaskets. And so I figured I'd just go ahead and start doing something, getting these ready. So I spent about the last 30 minutes or so swapping all these 6 valve springs and retainers and cleaning up the valve locks because I just had to reuse them. And yeah, I've got these 6 on this. This is a rear head, and so I've got it all swapped around. I do still have to go and wire wheel all that old copper spray off of the backside and clean up the head. And I've got the other one sitting on the front porch, and so I'm about to go grab the front one and get it set in here. I'll probably just take this one and go set it either back in the shed or maybe in the back seat of the parts car. But I'm gonna get this one out the way, get the other one in here, and then start getting these other ones swapped around. But it's going pretty good. I'm using my little homemade valve spring compressor tool. Like I said, I was trying to use that one, that Harbor Freight one, and it just sucks. It's not working. It keeps slipping, so I just said, screw it. I don't need it. I got this one. If I can do 155-pound valve springs with this thing, I can do 90-pound valve springs. And it was much easier, so I just kind of zipped through it real quick. So I'm going to get the other head in here and start getting those all swapped around, and I give you guys an update whenever I get the first spring and retainer and everything off. So y'all stay tuned. Alright, YouTube, so I even forgot to even record, and I already got these 2 swapped out. So I'm about to get these 2 off right here. So what I had to do to hold the valves in place is I just kind of fold up some rags and, you know, get it to where it gets something that'll hold the valves in place. As you can see it's not flat on the table, so it's definitely holding those valves up. Then I use my nail bar, get the rocker bolt in there, tighten it down, not all the way, but to where you can kind of pull and you can see the valve locks around where I drilled out that hole. Then you have to hold the head back here as you do this. So let me see if I can. Well, there went the phone. I guess this ain't gonna work here. Let's see. Go. one. Just throwing the old ones in the cup. And get that unscrewed. I'll screw it onto the next one. Since that rag is holding both of these valves, I'm doing 2 at a time on this head instead of 1 at a time. There we go. Alright, it's not wanting to work. Alright, here, let me get this off and I can't hold the phone and do all this shit, so let me get this off and I'll give you another update. Alright, so I got the old springs off. I use the nail bar and I just stick it in here and pry out the old valve seals. And you see I'm just tossing them in there with the springs. And you take the new ones, you lube them up with oil, and they just kind of go on there. And then I use this 12 millimeter and give it a nice couple taps on both of them, just to make sure they're nice and seated. And there we go, now they're both nice and seated. So now I can take my springs and the retainers. And I've got the locks here. I just got to clean them back up. And it goes back together. And I mean, these are still really not that hard to compress with the tool. It's just that tool just sucks and doesn't want to grip. It wants to keep sliding off. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all set up. And I'll give you guys another update once I get these back together. Alrighty guys, so I got those two on, so now you can see, got my nice fresh valve seals in there. Still got 2 more left. Got my last 2 springs, last 2 valve seals, and the last 2 retainers. And like I said, I'm having to reuse the locks because I didn't buy new valve locks, so it is what it is. At least I got the brand new 90-pound valve springs, got new valve seals. The heads will get painted and wire wheeled, and I'll get all this gasket material, copper spray off of both of them, both heads, and then get them all wiped down and painted up. And they'll be looking nice and fresh. And they'll be good to go on the 06 once I tear it down and do the head gaskets and the intake gaskets and all that. I'll put these heads on, and then that way I don't have to worry about any of this leaking or being bad, and I'll know that these are all cleaned out and aren't gunked up full of gunk, like more than likely like the heads on the 06 engine are. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these last 2 springs off and get these valve seals swapped around and get everything cleaned up, and get these 90-pound springs and modified retainers on these last 2, and then these heads will pretty much be wrapped up, and then it'll just be getting them all wire wheeled and cleaned up, and then getting them all masked off and ready to be painted red. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll keep you guys updated once I get these last 2 over here done. Alright you guys, so as you've seen, the heads are complete. Everything's good to go. So now they're just sitting over here chilling. So I decided to mess with the intercooler core, and all it took was just my screwdriver, and there's 2 notches right here, and you put your screwdriver in and pry it and it pops it up, and then you got this notch here, and those are the only 2 notches on this whole thing. But I was able to get this thing apart, so I don't know It looks like trans fluid or power steering fluid. I don't even know what the fuck that is. I don't know, that's weird. Definitely not coolant, so I don't know. But yeah, you can definitely tell where it was in that cavity there, so okay, I'm gonna have to get this thing all cleaned up and get this actual core out of here. It's just held in by that RTV right there. So once I can get this out of here, I can fill it up, see exactly where she was leaking at. And hopefully I can get Lucas to weld this thing up for me. And then I can just put it back together, reseal it. And of course I'll have to have everything cleaned, get all this shit cleaned out, get all this old RTV off here. But making a shit ton of progress with everything. So this is major progress here on this. Just because me and Lucas tried to pull this apart the last time that he was over here, whenever he was helping me out working on the 07, and we got the blower set back on. And but yeah, we tried to get it apart that day, and he told me if I could get it apart, he could more than likely weld it up for me. So I did the work, I got it apart. It only took me like 20 minutes of really fucking with it, and I got her apart. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing out of here so it's all ready to go, and I can just clean this up and then see where it's leaking at, and I'll mark it and see if he can weld her up for me. And as long as he can get it welded up for me, we'll quadruple check that, you know, it's not leaking anywhere. And as long as I don't see any leaks, I'll get all this all wire wheeled and cleaned up and get her back together and sealed back up so it can go back on the 07. So I think that's going to be it for tonight. So I think here in the morning I'm going to be getting up here in, it's almost 2 a.m. so here in about 5 hours or so, and David's supposed to be getting up early, and we're going to be headed back out there to Midway Auto Salvage to go pull that engine out of that Bonneville. And I want to tear that whole bottom end apart, and I want to look at the rods and the pistons and pull the timing cover and just see what all's in that engine, because that could be a gold mine of aftermarket parts. It had the ARPs. Oh, and then also, so on these ARP studs that I got off that Bonneville, so I was missing one nut. So I actually just got in here, and if you look at the nuts, they say that they are a 7/16. Look at that. It's ARP, it's on this side. 7/16-20, I think is what that says. Let me grab a different one. It's not so dirty. Yeah. 7/16-20. But so I got on eBay and I found these. They were $10 a piece, or I got a 2-pack for like $15. So I got 2 of these on the way. And then I was trying to find the actual ARP washers. So this is the bag that the washers come in. So I searched this number, this APW1316N, and I found the washers. But for this specific washer, they are $13 a piece, and I need 5 or 6 of them, and with 5 of them it makes it $70. So by the time I buy the washers for this, I mean, I could just spend another $10 and just get a brand new set of head studs with nuts and washers and everything. So it's kind of like, I wish I would have found that out before I went ahead and paid for the 2 nuts. But since I've already bought them, they're already coming on the way. So those should be here in the next day or two, probably Monday. And I guess whenever those come in, like, it's still going to be a minute before I have everything ready. I still got to get a gasket set for the 06. So, not a humongo deal, but I wish I would have known and I would have just ordered another set. And I would have just saved the money. But it's alright, not a big deal. So I got the 2 nuts on the way. If anything, I will just go get some regular ass washers that are the same size, and I'll just use some regular ass washers for the 4 or 5 of them that need a washer. So no big deal. I'll use those for the 06 whenever I get those heads on. So these are going to go over here. And then I've got the valve covers and the rockers and everything sitting outside on the hood of the parts car. And then I've got 4 extra modified retainers because they are LS set of 16 and you only use 12 for the V6s. But man, I'm happy with the progress today. So like I said, that's going to be it for tonight. I got to get up early here in like 4 or 5 hours so we can head out there and go tear that engine apart. So I guess y'all stay tuned and I'll give you guys another update whenever we are headed out there to Midway. So y'all have a good night and I'll catch you guys in the morning. Hey YouTube, alright, so it is Sunday morning. Well, it's about noon. I overslept a little bit, but I went by David's, he's not coming, so I'm headed out there to Beggs, Oklahoma, back to Midway Auto Salvage, so I go pull that engine block out and pull it apart and see what we got. So y'all stay tuned, I'll give you guys another update once I make it out there. Alright y'all. We're almost there. Pick and pay parts salvage. Next driveway. It started to sprinkle a little bit, but that's not going to stop me. Here we are. Down. This way. Here we go. So I'll give you guys another update once I make it back over to that Bonneville. Alright y'all, so I made it back out here to the car. So I'm about to start getting this engine pulled out of here. But I at least want to drop the pan and get this timing cover off. I'm going to grab this pulley. But yeah, I want to pull this thing apart, so I need to get it out of here. So I got to get these bell housing bolts, get the starter off. Torque converter bolts and engine mount, pull this thing out. We've got hoists around here, so I'm gonna have to go find a hoist this thing out of here, but it'll get there. So y'all stay tuned and I'll give you guys another update once I make some progress on this thing. Alright you guys, so made a lot of progress, got this thing almost out. It's all disconnected. I couldn't get it to spin over. I think the engine started to lock up. Look how nice and shiny that is. I know those might be stock, but they just looked way too nice underneath the gunk. So, just about got this thing out of here. I'll give you guys another update. Alright you guys, so I started sprinkling. Now I got her out. So now I gotta take this bracket off. Try to get this crank pulley off. So I can get this timing cover off. So y'all stay tuned, give you guys another update. Alright y'all, so I made some more progress. Got the timing cover off. Looks like it's got a newer oil pump. And it's got some kind of an aftermarket timing set. So I'm gonna get this thing apart and I'll give you guys another update because I'm taking that. Alright y'all, so finally got everything apart. Got the cam cover right here. And looky there, stage 1 blower cam of stage 1X. What is that, stage 4? Oh, that's stage 4 blower cam. That's a good cam. Single roller, roll master. So, oh yeah, and it's got a good cam key on it still. This is a good score today. And then the timing cover has definitely been cleaned and redone. So I'm going to get the timing cover. I'm getting all this. And then the only thing that's left now is I got to flip this over, pop the oil pan off, and take a look at these pistons and rods. So y'all give me just a minute and I'll give you guys another update. Actually, I got the oil pan off. It's definitely full of some metal in there, but look at that. ARP mains, ARP rod bolts, new pistons. Come on, light. 21410. They're nice. So I'm about to get all this torn apart and I'll give you guys another update. Wow guys, look at here. They were making so much power they broke the crank. That's why. Crazy. But got 3 out. Working on number 4. I'll give you guys another update once I get this piece of crank out of the way, I guess. Alright you guys, I got all 6 of the pistons and rods out. These are some nice looking pistons. I mean, yeah, they're dirty. They'll have to be cleaned. But they don't look super old. And all of them have new rod bearings. And then I'm just trying to get these main studs. I can't figure out what fucking socket size these are. I tried a 9/16, a half, a 12, a 13, a 14. It's just like none of them are. See, that's a 14. It kind of fits, but when I try to spin it, it just turns. So that don't work. And then the 13's too small. 12 is way too small, and then that's the 9/16, and it's just way too big. And then so the half is too small. So it's like, I don't know, I guess the 14 is probably my closest, but it's still, it just doesn't grip when I put my breaker bar on there. See, it just spins. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep looking for some more sockets in the toolbox, see if I can find something that'll fit these, and I'll give you guys another update. But other than that, I've pretty much got everything. Got the cam, the pistons, the timing set, timing chain or timing cover, ARP rod bolts, and now it's just ARP main bolts, or main studs. So y'all give me a few and I'll give you guys another update once I have these off. Alright y'all, I got everything torn out, I got everything loaded up, so I'm about to head up here to the front and go pay for all this, then I'll give you guys another update. Alright y'all, so I've got everything loaded up. So they charge $16.50 for each piston and rod. So it's $100 for the pistons and rods. And then $20 in core charges. And then $20 in warranty. The pulley with that idler, supercharger idler pulley and bracket was $8. The cam was $17. And then I guess he didn't even charge me for the main studs or the timing set or any of the other shit. He was trying to charge me It was like another $50. It was like $25 for the timing cover, and then like $16 for the oil pump, and $15 for the water pump. And so I just put the whole thing back because it was like almost $50, and I wasn't trying to spend that much. I didn't think it was even going to be almost $200, but still, $193 total for everything. That's a pretty good score. So I'm headed back to the house. I'm going to holler at David, see if I can borrow that ultrasonic cleaner. And if I disassemble these, I think it's big enough I could probably soak each one of these pistons one at a time. And I can definitely get all those main studs and maybe that timing set, not for sure. But I can get a lot of the smaller stuff all soaked in there and cleaned up. Get all these ARP rod bolts cleaned up and all that. And we should be good to go. So I'm going to head back to the house, and I'll give you guys another update whenever I make it home. Alright, you guys. I just made it over here to David's house in my neighborhood. Man, everything made it. Still can't believe it was $200 for everything, but I sent all these videos, clips to David while I was still out there, and he looked up the cam and he said the cam's like $400 by itself. So he said the trip out there and the price for everything was worth it just for the cam. Which, I mean, I kind of agree. And then I got the timing set and the pistons. And I don't know why, but it looks like these rods are shorter than the Grand Prix rods. So maybe that was a stroker build engine. Maybe that's why he broke the crank. Trying to make it stroke even quicker. But, man, I'm really happy with the outcome today. So I'm waiting for David to come outside, and then we're gonna get the ultrasonic cleaner. I stopped at O'Reilly's and got a 1-gallon jug of Purple Power degreaser cleaner. So that's what we're gonna use to soak all this in the ultrasonic cleaner. So I'll give you guys another update once I make it over to the house. Look at the 97. Alright, you guys, so just got over to the house and got everything unloaded. So here we go, not a bad score. Man, the cam still looks great. I bet those were some LS7 lifters or something, or maybe some intense racing, because this is a intense racing cam. But man, I'm super stoked. I cannot believe all the goodies that engine was hiding. But that's how it goes sometimes. I was talking to David. He said that whoever took the heads, he said this engine probably had some CNC intense racing heads on it. And I was like, well, that's probably why the heads were gone. And it probably had, if it's got a stage 4 blower cam, it probably had a pretty small pulley on it. And it looks like it's a pretty short belt. It's a supercharger belt. It's a pretty short belt. So maybe like a 3.0 or 2.9 or 2.8 or something. Looks about like the same size belt I had on the 07. But shit, I'm stoked. Cannot believe I got all this stuff. So I guess while I'm waiting for David to get over here, I'm going to start disassembling these rods to pistons and get the piston rings off and just start kind of getting everything ready to go into the cleaner. So y'all stay tuned and I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, so David just got over here and we got the cleaner set up. We got some Purple Power in there, diluted with some water in the bag. And got those in there. And then next I'm going to do this cam plate and this is the other timing cover or timing tensioner that came off the one that came apart whenever I pulled the NA engine apart with this timing set. Since the one that came off that engine was broke. So I think all the pistons are too big to fit in there, so I'm going to have to just get a 5-gallon bucket and put some that Purple Power diluted with some water, and I'm going to put the timing set and all 6 pistons and rods in there and just let them soak to get all that gunk off. And I mean, these are really looking like some CNC machined pistons. So these could very easily be like some $1,000 pistons. So I'm going to get them all cleaned up. I'm going to look up these numbers. So this cam is the Stage 1X cam, the S1X Intense Racing blower cam. So it's like a $400 cam. So was totally worth the trip and everything. So it's going to be a good cam. I'm going to get everything cleaned up. I know everything on here saying that you can pretty much drop this in with stock heads and stock valve springs and retainers and everything. So this could be a good candidate for the Grand Am engine. I'm not really for sure. I mean, I know I kind of like it. I know I kind of want to use it, but my main deal is the piston. So I don't know. David was asking about throwing this in the 97. We might do that, since it's like, if the NIC cam is a better, more lopey cam, and this is just like, to this Butte. Oh, it sounds so good. The base aftermarket cam, I guess.
I mean, their description basically said you could toss it in the engine without doing any other supporting upgrades other than like 105-pound
valve
springs. I'm more curious.
Well, it
CNC,
definitely needs a new cam bolt, regardless. But
these CNC pistons, though.
Yeah, see, this is the main deal. This is what I'm saying. This is what I want.
Need to find out who's made these.
That's what I'm saying. I want to get them cleaned up. And I know I did compare to the NA rods I have in there out of the other 3800, and they are the same length. Whenever I pulled them out, they looked a little shorter to me, but they're not. They are the same length.
A little bit of skirt wear on that one where the crank come apart.
That was crazy. I still cannot believe that crank is broke. That's the first. So this thing had to have been making some crazy torque and some crazy power to fucking break the crank. I think I've heard on the Turbo 3800 page, guys were talking about the 3800 stock bottom end will last to like 700 to 800 horsepower. So I don't know. That means this thing was either making some serious power or it had just been abused. Maybe it was a high mileage engine, but I don't know. It was super clean on the inside. Like, I mean, other than all the rusty water in the cylinders from it sitting with no heads on it.
Might have been one of those neutral dropping people.
Man, I'm really curious to know what kind of heads were on it. If they were just some, I mean, with the saying you could use stock heads, then maybe it was just some stock heads and a smaller pulley.
I think if they did the big kit with the CNC machined heads, they would have had like at least a stage 3 or 4 cam. But then the CNC pistons.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Like, why would you halfway build an engine?
And then ARP everything.
Yeah, ARP everything. Main studs, head studs, rod bolts.
And whoever took those heads off at the junkyard did not know what they were looking at. They left all those ARPs.
They left all this good stuff.
Dropped them in the dirt, dropped them on the cowl, dropped them in the motor, probably had a bunch in the heads when they took them.
Yeah, that's probably where the other 4 or 5 washers I'm missing are in those heads. But it's all good. I've got a great score today, so I don't know, David, I guess if you really want this cam, you can have this cam. Because, I mean, they only charged me like $20 for the cam. And I'm pretty sure all this is
told you you'd like Midway.
I mean, I still never found the supercharger bolts, but I mean, we went out there on Wednesday and I got the head studs, and I mean, that was a score to me.
That's almost $100.
Where's this one it was like halfway fucking cleaned and shiny. Not that one. Oh, yeah, there's one. Yeah. I seen that, and I was like, man, that just looks too new.
Let's try and clean that one to see if there's any manufacturer.
There was 2 of them on the rag. Maybe it's this one. No. Well, I know there was 2 of them on the rear head. Maybe that was one of them, and it got kind of dirty.
That car was suffering from intense blow-by.
Maybe he had the PCV blocked off.
Yeah.
You know, the EGR delete like I did, and block off the PCV, and didn't know. It had a regular oil cap. I didn't see any breather laying up there. But there was a regular factory oil cap laying up on the cow. But yeah, I'm definitely want to get these cleaned up and look up these numbers, see what I can find out about these pistons, and I'll give you guys another update. So y'all stay tuned. Alright y'all, so I've been having the pistons and rods have been soaking in the bucket with this purple power, pretty diluted though, and I've got these nylon bristle brushes so it doesn't scratch anything, and I just kind of clean this one up, and then did a little wipe down with the shirt. And I mean, the piston top isn't completely clean yet, but man, these look really nice. And then brand new rod bearings, a little bit of pitting in that one. It has been sitting in that engine, so but they're cleaning up really nice.
How these mains.
I'm very happy. Yeah, and then look at all the studs they're cleaning up. They all look brand new. Thank you, David, for doing that.
Very welcome.
Yeah, what else is there?
I put the cam plate in the 2 little bolts.
Sweet. Well, that'll be for you. Cool. For that cam.
Look at all that came off there.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. That shit was pretty dirty, but
It's crazy.
I just can't believe that fucking crank just broke like
I
that.
can't believe someone took those heads off of there and didn't see any of the
Yeah,
other
I
stuff.
know. But either way, like, they did look really crusty on top, but I just seen those 2 little spots. I'm like, man, I don't know, I gotta go back and see what it is. And I pulled the oil pan and seen ARP everything, and I was like, I'm buying it all. Got the timing cover off, seen the roll master. I was like, yeah, I'm getting that. Man. And then I seen the cam, and I was like, oh, blower cam. Oh yeah. Yeah, I thought it was like a stage 4 supercharged cam, but it's like the very small, lowest cam that Intense sells, so it's a good thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you gift. Thank you for always helping me out, so I'm happy. But yeah, they're cleaning up pretty nice, so I've got this other one. Where'd that other one? Yeah, see, I was already scrubbing this one down too.
I don't feel any laser etching on
Yeah,
this.
see, and this was one of them in the rear that was sitting in the cylinders, and that's what I seen. And I was like, man, that doesn't look factory. And that's the whole reason that I went back today.
Aluminium.
Was because I seen that piston. 2 cylinders, I seen those pistons, and I was like, yeah, those look aftermarket. I want to go see. So, thank you to those 2 pistons is the whole reason I got all this. And I mean, these pistons alone look like they could very well be like $1,000, but I don't know until I look them up, see what these numbers mean. I still haven't done that yet. But once I look them up, I'll find out for sure. And I'll give you guys another update on that, but I'm going to keep cleaning these up, and I'll look that up later. So, y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update once I got all 6 of them scrubbed and wiped down. Alright, you guys. So, I'm sitting here cleaning away, and David was using my phone, looking online, and he found them. I will put a screenshot in, but Yeah, so they are diamond pistons. $1,100. I got them for $100. Saved $1,000. And that was still with like everything else. Like, dude.
That's still $16.
Hey, that was a pretty lucky score there. Like, that was just off of a hunch, man. Like, just because I seen those two piston tops, I was like, that doesn't look
well,
factory.
it's like, who puts ARPs on and then, like, nothing else?
Yeah. I mean, like, I understand, like, the head studs, because then if you blow head gasket, it's super easy to change, and you don't have to buy new head bolts. You just untorque them, pull the head off.
But that bottom wheel did look like someone took care of it. Like, it had custom paint and pinstriping.
Man,
so it looked like somebody had put some serious money, and they did. They put some
serious
money.
But that's awesome. $1,100 pistons. So I'm definitely going to get these all super cleaned up. But I'm just kind of giving them a rough right now. But
we'll have them
David suggested maybe letting them sit overnight in the degreaser. But I still want to scrub them out. So
they're cleaning up.
I'm going to keep cleaning, and I'll keep you guys updated. I just wanted to share that information, man. That's crazy. $1,100 pistons.
So you had almost, probably $1,300, $1,400 day at the junkyard
for $200. Hell yeah! All right, guys, I'm gonna keep scrubbing these, and I'll give you guys another update. I said I was gonna give you another update when all 6 were done, but I just pulled that one. And it was nasty, and I just gave it a nice little scrub. Like, it came off super easy. All that just fell off. That thing looks gorgeous. It's crazy. Diamond pistons, man. So, here, you want to hold that for a moment, though? Let me see if the next one cleans up as good as that one did. Alright, look how nasty that shit is.
It's gross.
Well, that one's not melting off as easy as that last one did. I don't know what the deal with that one was. I figured just because it sat in a little longer, it was eating it off better, but yeah, that one didn't really clean up as nice as that other one did. Let's see, where's this other last one? That one didn't really melt off like the other one did either. That was like the only one out of all 6 that just cleaned up like that.
It just fell off.
Other than that, I mean, they seem to clean up pretty nice. It's just a light brush and then wipe down with the rag. I'll have to work on these tops some more, but it's going pretty good so far. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, so this is the 3rd time I've changed the water and put fresh purple power degreaser. This is the one I've got the cleanest so far. There's still that little bitty smudge, but so all the other ones still got a lot of gunk on them. So I've got those. I just made that, so I'm gonna let those soak for about an hour, and I'll come back out and scrub them down some more. I moved the brushes up here, so yeah, I'll probably let those brushes soak too. But hey, I made a lot of fucking progress today. I'm super happy. This was Junkyard Find of a lifetime, so that's probably, I'll never find another set of forged pistons. That's awesome. So I think that's going to be it for today, though, guys. So y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.